There's a continuation to the first part. All right. So the first video I just made like just a few minutes ago was worst experiences of Freelancer part 1. So I realized that there's actually part 2. There's another really, not a pleasant experience is dealing with really high maintenance clients and high maintenance client are clients that are just very difficult to work with. And typically, the reason they're difficult to work with is either they're very disorganized, they're not responsible. So, not responsible could mean everyone has agreed to do something, and certain part, like let's say the client agreed to give you images and photos for a website by a certain date, right? But they don't actually follow through with that, and they find some way to blame the situation on you as the contractor. Right? That's an example of not taking responsibility for their actions. Or clients that are constantly changing their minds. They might say, "Hey, I really want, a red button off on the right." Then they change their mind. "Oh, let's move it to the left." And all of a sudden they say, "Move it to the right." Maybe something like that is a bit more trivial, but it can grow into something bigger, right? And then we call that scope creep when they say, "Oh, these are the tax rules that we should apply for these particular types of products when shipped to these particular provinces or states." You spend a lot of time developing the rules and the algorithm to doing something like that, and then all of a sudden they change their mind a few weeks later, and you have to rewrite it, and they change their minds again, and then you have to rewrite it. And what happens is sometimes maybe in a proposal, not all these requirements are spelled out, and then so there's room for discussion or interpretation on what those requirements or features should be, right? And that naturally translates to what the budget should be, right? And so the client can't make up their mind. Requirements keep changing, and you keep doing the work, and the budget, you're putting in a lot of hours, and then you're starting to realize, oh wait, maybe I'm running out of budget for this. Maybe I should set the client straight and let them know that they can't keep changing their minds, and that will lead to uncomfortable discussions for people who aren't really trained in sales, right? So it's a bad experience when clients are very disorganized. They can't agree, or they keep changing their minds on things. They keep changing the due dates, and then when things don't go their way because the whole process was kind of very chaotic, they'll end up just blaming you as the contractor, right? All these situations can be managed if you have a lot of good client management skills, which is something you pick up with experience over time. Okay? But it's a really bad experience when you don't have the appropriate skills to manage really difficult clients like that. And this is really related to my first answer to the first question about what's one of my worst experiences, which was one of the worst experiences was not getting paid. Well, when a client is difficult to manage, projects kind of go awry. Well, then that generally leads to delinquent payments.